Okay, here I am in Visual Studio and I created an empty project and I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of some of the functions in ctype.h. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how I've declared a character and I've declared an array of characters. So a character is a single character, so I need to use %c to read in the character and %c to write the character back onto the screen. And a word is an array of characters. This is going to be a string, so when I use %s to read in the word, I can use %s to print the word back onto the screen because it has a null character at the end. So I'm just going to make sure and compile this and make sure that it works. So all I'm doing here is entering a letter, X, and I'm entering a word, hello. So far it works. I can enter a letter and it prints the letter back onto the screen. I can enter a word and it prints the word back onto the screen. So that's working. Okay, so now if I wanted to test any of the letters in my word, or I want to test the letter that was entered, I can use the functions either is upper or is lower. And I will find out if it's an uppercase letter or a lowercase letter. So in order to do that, I can use conditions here. So what I'm doing here is I'm using this function called isUpper, and in order to use this function called isUpper, I need to pass it a character. So I have a character called letter. So what I'm doing here, I'm getting a letter from the user, and then I'm figuring out if the letter that was entered is uppercase or lowercase, and I'm printing a message back onto the screen. This first condition here tests if the letter was upper, then it's going to print the message uppercase, and then clearly the else here is if it's not upper, it will print the first letter or the letter is lowercase. So let's try it. Enter a letter, Y. Enter a word. I'm not doing anything with the word right now, and it's telling me the letter is lowercase, and that is true. It is lowercase because the letter I entered was a lowercase y. Now I could also test any letter that is in my word. So I could, after I give my word, each character within my array is a single character. So I could test the first character in my array, the second character in my array. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to test the first letter in my array. And the first letter in my array is word at index 0. So I'm not even going to worry anymore about the character that was entered. I'm just going to work with the word now. So I'm going to test. I have to recompile, run it. Now I enter a word, H-E-L-L-O. The first letter of my word, H, is an uppercase letter, and this function isUpper has replied to tell me that because it tests it. This function tests isUpper, and you pass it any character at all. It just has to be a single character, and the function will return a true, which will make this whole expression true if it is an uppercase letter. So let's try it another time with a different word. What will it return? The letter is lowercase. So when you get for the assignment, when you get a word from the file, you only need to test the first letter, and then you will know if it is an uppercase word or it is a lowercase word. Now, since I'm doing ctype.h, I'm going to also point out that there's another function that can be used in a very similar way, and it's just called isLower. Now, if you're using isUpper, there is no reason to use isLower. isLower is going to just return true if the character is a lowercase letter. So since I showed you isUpper, you can figure out how to use isLower. The other functions in the ctype.h is toLower and toUpper. So I'm going to take the first letter of my word at index 0, and I'm going to use this function toLower, and I'm going to change it to lowercase. Now the truth is that if it's already lowercase, it will get changed to lowercase and nothing will happen. But if it's uppercase, it will get changed to to lowercase, because I'm using this function to lower. And to upper can be used exactly the same way, only it's going to change it to uppercase instead of lowercase. So now I'm going to print the word here after I've done that. So what this code does here is it tests if the first letter of a word is uppercase, and then it changes the first letter of the word to lowercase. And if it was upper, it's going to change it to lower, and if it was lower, it's just going to stay lower. So let's try it with 2 words. I didn't mean to hit that. Okay, so I'm going to enter a word, H-E-L-L-O. It's all uppercase, so it tells me the letter is uppercase. The first letter, it's not the whole word, it's only testing one letter. It's telling me that that one letter is uppercase, and the word is hello with a lowercase h now, because it used this function right here to lower to change it to lowercase. Now if I'd use the same thing and I enter a word all in lowercase, it's going to tell me the letter is lowercase, and it's not going to alter the word because it's going to take that first letter and change it to lowercase, and it already is lowercase. And there's a very similar function to the to lower function, which is called to upper, and so you can take that and try that. It will do the same thing, only it will change it to uppercase. In the next video, I will do some string member functions.